can always look it up on the website, and I'll tell you later about it. You can just stop at that. So yeah, a lot of information on here. It's just to say that we're focusing actually on 3 teams. So we're looking into the effectiveness, we're looking into the cost effectiveness, and we're looking into the global NCD instruments. Well, where I'm actually mostly in is in the above on the effectiveness. So we're looking into how can we increase the access to prevention care by reaching more people who need care. How can countries remove barriers to prevention and care and to make services accessible? How can we improve the quality of prevention and care, both at community level and in primary health care? So as I said before, I mainly focus on the community-based programs. So in Indonesia, that's the most beautiful, right? And why is this interesting? Well, community-based programs is actually really common practice in Southeast Asia, and it's really, especially common practice in having social or cultural interaction, and sometimes also income generating livelihood is really different in countries, but it's really because in a culture where family and community is very important. It's a common thing actually in other regions of the world. So what community-based programs can do is they influence solidarity, self-reliance, and social support, and they can really be an effective way to induce behavioral change because it's so important for people to belong to the community and therefore it can impact health. So that's where, I focus on, and what we're trying to find out is, as you can see in this picture, I was talking about the community before. So you have a community, and in the community, people visit a hospital or another community group, and they get a health promotion and prevention. They get aware of their health. They get screened. And, if there are any values of their sugar level or something else, and it doesn't seem right, they can get, first of all, a lifestyle. They can talk about how you can adjust your lifestyle a bit, or you can be referred to a Puskesmas or a primary healthcare facility. And in this primary healthcare facility, you can actually get early diagnosis. And you can get medical treatment, but it doesn't stop at that point because it also works the other way around. We know that only medication is coupled with NCDs is not the only thing that works. Lifestyle is really important as well. So the private healthcare sector can refer people in to going to the hospital, keep getting themselves screened, and being aware of their own disease. And also the other way around. So in Indonesia we focus on hospital. Also the other way around, if it starts here and they don't know maybe about the hospital, the Puskesmas or the primary healthcare facility could say, go to the hospital and they can really advise you maybe what you could do for your lifestyle. So Victoria showed this already. So what we found actually here in Indonesia, there were certain gaps in the primary healthcare as in the community groups, and the gaps were that there were a lot of men and there were people missing. This is of course the case because people go to school, so in the daytime they don't have available time to go to the hospital, and also the men work up in the daytime, so they don't have the time to go to a community. I don't know how much Victoria already told about this, but so there was also a limited policy on NCD screening, lack of guidelines, lack of implementation, lack of knowledge actually among the community health volunteers, so the cadres, and also a lack of materials for the cadres to be supported. Unlike materials for health education and promotion. So actually a lot of different interventions were implemented to see how we could tackle these gaps. And I will go through all the interventions that we see here below. So the first intervention was a screening algorithm. So they developed a screening algorithm to help the cadres to really understand like when do I have to refer the patient or what are the different values that I need to know. So how really easy actually the patient comes from the window, first they do registration, where you, what age are you, and then you go on to the history of NCDs. So are there NCDs in your family? Do you have NCDs? Did you have a stroke before, for example? And then you have an interview of your lifestyle risk factors. So how about your physical movement? How much do you do a day? And how much food do you eat a day? And also vegetables, do you eat vegetables? That kind of questions. And then you get some job measurements. So you get your weight, your height, your circumstances here. So that will be tested, and also sometimes looking at your lab as well. And then you can get a referral or health education. It depends on what kind of elements come out. So you have healthy risk of NCDs and having NCDs. And then if you have a risk of NCDs, you get counseling. And if you have an NCD based on what they found, you will get a referral to the specialist. Then we also have the health education materials. So these are some examples of different leaflets, which I cannot actually read. So unfortunately, I don't speak Gaza. But well, these are some examples of how to inform people, how to make them more aware, and how to motivate maybe people to even how to become more physically. So another one was a training both for the cadres, so the volunteers in the hospital, and the primary healthcare officials. And it was about multiple modules. And then we looked into the training for cadres. Well, it was a blended method. And they had a really contact about different discussions and questions. And then there was peer teaching because two cadres are getting trained and they teach the other cadres that in the hospital they want. So there's also a hospital app, which is really easy the cadres to use, and they can well, fill in all the measurements really quick and have the information available. And then there was also a training for the primary healthcare officials, in which they acquired knowledge and skills to use an algorithm for early detection of communicable diseases. And then the health officers can assist the hospital cadres when they have difficulties in using it. So the last intervention was an integrated hospital screening into workplaces and schools. As said before, it was found that a lot of young people and working men were not reached, and in this way, still the target people who come from hospital would get screening as well. And then the last one was a policy brief, and advocacy was really get the support from the province, from the Ministry of Health to see the stuff. All right, so it's fine. I still have some time. That's good. So we did some research on the hospital, in which we worked together with students from this university, together with students from the university in which I belong. And we did that in April and June. And well, the students, they wrote a thesis and also developed the product. And what did they ask? They had several research questions. So they asked, is there a significant difference between knowledge? So this was about mostly training. So the cadres, they were trained in, as I said before, I showed the intervention, one of the interventions they got training, and we actually researched if there was any difference between knowledge of the cadres. Before the training was tested, directly after the training, and then also 4 months after training to see if the skills and the practice were still implemented correctly and the knowledge was still there on the same level. Then we looked into if they were capable of providing actually services as they were learned, as they learned it in the training, and then we also looked into the various facilitators of the implementing the knowledge shape up. So what did we do? Well, actually, here in the initial meeting, they had a pre and post training questionnaires. In Kuliah and Blok, I gave tutorial already to which areas we're doing this research. And then we also did some observational checklists to see how they use their skills in practice. And lastly, to look into various facilitators we have multiple focus for discussions. So a total of 50 cadres completed this questionnaire. 100% were female, and the mean age was 44. And it was really a different range of years of the account from 1 to 25 years. So what did we find? So it's not that easy to see and observe that. But if you look at these, then you see that this was the pre-test before they had training. This was directly after the training, and this was 4 months of training. And here you see the different colors. So the blue one, the dark blue one, is the overall knowledge. The light blue one here is NCD, and the light blue one is Pakar. And what you see here actually is that there was a difference in knowledge, of course, before the training was really different to when it was directly after the training. But then if you look 4 months after, the knowledge goes down. So it shows us that actually after a while, the knowledge goes down again. And what was interesting here to see is that there was actually a difference between education. So the cadres that had a lower education scored lower compared to the cadres that had a higher education. So the higher education, I mean, of course, we're talking about knowledge, so it seems really logical, but it's really it's depending really on health volunteers. So if compared to Vietnam, for example, we didn't find that. What we did find was that there was a difference in age. So for people who were older age, they had less knowledge compared to people who were younger age. So we also use some observational checklists, as I said before, to really see them how they use the obtained knowledge in practice. And what you can see is that actually all the measurements, sort of blood pressure measurement, the waist circumcise, circumstances measurement, and the body height and height of baby, and the body weight measurement were actually all higher for the intervention group. But then if you look to using the algorithm, so really looking into what are good values, actually the control group scored higher. So that's an interesting finding we have. And then we also had the focus group discussion, as I said before. So what the cadres actually said is they find it really helpful to get this training. They really find it interesting. It helped them a lot to get more knowledge, of course, but also to get more confident in screening people and also giving people some health education in that. So they learned really how to looked at some results of the measurements and what they meant, and they experienced some organizational logistical issues regarding the recruitment of participants. So this seems to be really difficult to get participants active and coming to the hospital. They also had some difficulties with the frequency of the training. They actually wanted to have more training, more refreshment trainings. And also they said that they wanted the training to be more than 2 cadres. So a bit of the discussion that we found on conclusion. So as I said before, the knowledge was really increased directly after the training, but declined slightly again after 4 months. And the cadres for the higher education had a significant more knowledge compared to the one who had the lower education. And in the observation checklist, the intervention group really scored higher on every point. The only thing they didn't, they actually scored lower on was the algorithm part. And that's why the students actually developed a project to, hopefully make it more easy to using the algorithm and knowing what the results mean. So they really can see the steps about how you have to do it. There you see all the measurements and all the values that are right, and here you see what's okay. And when you have to give names of health promotion, once every 3 years, or you have to advise to a patient to revisit or to go to those business. So the focus of discussions, as I said before, the cadres found it really helpful. They found some negative comments, but I think negative is a really negative word, but it was mainly related to organizational logistics in Tunisia. So people coming to the hospital is not always easy because you don't have a motorbike, or you don't have a car, or you don't have the money to get a bus. So suggestions for improvement were that more cadres had to be trained, and also more frequently to refresh their knowledge, and also to having a practice again. The last discussion points, I think, so as I said before, the training sessions itself should contain some repetition and practice, like doing it in real practice. It should not be limited to pilots, and research and support will be in place. So actually this was the research for now that I want to talk about people's bingo. I don't know if there are any questions or remarks right now.
Thank you. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you so much for your presentation. I enjoyed it very much. My name is Hanif, and I have a question. So, one of the unique characteristics of the Southeast Asian people is that they are highly communal. So communities are very closely together, and we share everything in that community. So, but I would assume that it is almost the same in every Southeast Asian communities. It is very close-knit. So I would also assume that when intervening non-communicable disease at the community level, we would also face common problems. So my question is, what are the most common challenges faced when intervening non-communicable disease in Southeast Asian countries, and how does the different countries in Southeast Asia do in comparison to each other? That would be my first question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think actually for your question, in practice I have to go to Victoria, because she knows it more better than I do, so can I give you the words?
Gimana, ini kan masyarakat Indonesia dan negara-negara Asia, Asia Tenggara itu kan sangat
Saya mau
kembang.
menjelaskan yang tentang di Indonesia sendiri ya, seperti apa yang sudah saya lihat. Ketika Jinji ke sini, saya syukuri dengan dawet, saya syukuri dengan makanan-makanan yang ada di sini, dan it's too much sweet. Jadi dia kayak makan gula untuk 1 tahun itu dimakan waktu dia kesini. Jadi karakteristik dari Indonesia itu, jadi suatu kita sebagai orang-orang kesehatan itu nggak bisa cuma mikirin ini penyakit apa, ini karena apa, patologisnya gimana, terapinya gimana. Ternyata lebih luas dari itu. Ketika kamu belajar tentang global health, ketika kamu belajar tentang public health, kamu akan berhubungan dengan budaya, berhubungan dengan sosial, berhubungan dengan lingkungan di sekitar, dan itu semua yang jadi faktor risiko di Indonesia. Tidak cuma karena kamu suka makan manis, tapi ternyata di sekelilingmu yang jualan makanan manis semua, street food manis semua, micin semua. Jadi kayak gitu ya. Jadi memang ini adalah suatu kompleksitasnya untuk melakukan intervensi ini. Jadi challenge itu sendiri, terutama di Southeast Asia, ini mungkin dijelaskan comparisonnya dengan Vietnam karena kita comparisonnya antara Vietnam, Indonesia sama Myanmar. Jadi kita punyanya data Vietnam. Jadi akan dikompar dengan Vietnam. Tapi ketika saya sempat berkesempatan Kuliah di sana, saya belajar global health, dan teman-teman dari negara lain itu kayak India, saya dapat teman dari Brasil, Meksiko, teman-teman yang punya negara berkembang itu memiliki isu-isu kesehatan yang mirip-mirip dengan kita. Kita sendiri punya kepulauan yang luas, yang besar, akses yang sulit, mereka juga punya, dan dengan masalah yang sama. Jadi sebenarnya masalah kesehatan ini nggak bisa kita cuma mikirin cuma buat Indonesia sendiri. Maka dari itu Eropa salah satunya menjadi salah satu negara yang concern di bidang ini dan menjadi kesehatan global. Makanya kita belajar tentang global health. Teman-teman mungkin kayak IKM itu kayak disampaikan nggak sih? Pengennya jadi spesialis nggak sih? Kayak gitu ya. Tapi di sini ya, ngajak teman-teman terbuka sedikit. Kalau kita nggak cuma lingkup ini doang, mungkin cuma pasien di Indonesia, tapi kita itu punya masalah kesehatan dunia. Kalau tadi pertanyaan karakteristiknya di challenge-nya di Indonesia seperti itu, juga karena stigma sendiri di Indonesia. Kalau misal distribusinya ibu-ibu, PKK-nya ibu-ibu, dan kami menemukan karakter yang cowok, kami menemukan ada yang anak muda, tapi itu sulit sekali ditemukan. Juga kader-kader itu yang baru-baru itu juga malas. Jadi selalu kader-kader yang udah ini senior gitu. Kadang ada senior sendiri untuk melakukan inovasi, untuk kesana kemari kan lebih sulit juga ya. Kalau menjawab ya, nanti comparisonnya coba sulit tinggi.
Thank you very much. So what I think, I don't know, of course I can compare it to Vietnam and to Myanmar. But what I think is more interesting if we compare it maybe to the Netherlands or to maybe some European countries. So what is really important right now here is, I think it's such a beautiful thing that, as you said before, like a community is so important here as a part of your daily life, and it's really different compared to Europe, because in Europe where we're from, it's more, of course our family is important and our friends are important, very important, but our daily life is more individual. For example, having food is really different in having with, as I said, like I love it, street food, and I like it a lot. For us, we probably at home we eat really quick and have a quick meal, and then we go on to what we need to do in the day. Here, like the food and the eating together is such an important part your daily life. So that's really also why it's really important that we do these interventions, why we look at these interventions, because I think we could do a lot in community-based programs. On the other hand, I think it's also really difficult sometimes because it's also such an important aspect of law. So I don't know if that answers your questions for now.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ada lagi yang mau ditanyain teman-teman? Ya.
Ini. Tadi nanya kan
Hello, my name is Pakar, CEO of Station, and I noticed that in the results section on the pre-post training questionnaire scores, there are graphic that you can see, and I see that the results before the trainings are written on the graphic, and then the results right after the training also written on the graphic, and it increased so much, and I'm so happy to see that. But we also see that after 4 months of the training, the results decreased, and you can see that the 4 months of the training result is closer to the before training compared to the right after the training. And it is also written there on the discussion section on the suggestion for improvement that more givers or participants will be trained and trained more frequently to refresh and practice the obtained knowledge and skills of the givers or participants. So my question is, how often do you think the training should be held so the result can be lifelong? Thank you.
Thank you very much for this really interesting question, I think. Well, we're really happy, of course, as you were saying, to find this. But unfortunately, you see the knowledge going out really quickly already after 4 months. So this 4 months already shows that's a short amount of time. Therefore, I don't know if it's needed that they will need a whole training again within 2 months or within 4 months. But I think we should look into having that knowledge refreshed in a short period of time. And we really have to think about what is the best way to do that it doesn't take too much of your time, of course, but keeps your knowledge and your confidence up to date. And as you can, well, as I said before, this is 4 months only. I think it's not necessary to do a training within 4 months together, full training, because that's just too much work. But we should really look into having a refreshment of your knowledge within a short period of time. Yes. Does this answer your question? And if you have any suggestions, you can always let me know. Anything? Other questions?
Jadi kita melakukan training ya sama ibu kader, tapi kemarin kita kompar, jadi kan Kediri, Batam itu sebagai wilayah intervensi kami, sedangkan Solo sama Batam itu wilayah kontrol. Kami kemarin ada di Solo, ada training kader, tapi di lapangannya cuma kayak kuliah gitu ya, kuliah tanpa praktik, tanpa praktek, itu membuat kadernya itu bahkan PPT-nya nggak bisa nyala, jadinya mereka nggak bisa memahami dengan lebih cepat gitu, pakai cuma menceritakan gitu aja. Sedangkan training yang kami dibuat interaktif, dibuat seperti workshop, lalu mereka melakukan praktek secara langsung. Nah itu tapi kami cuma melakukan memberikan perwakilan 2 orang per pos minggu. Jadi nggak semuanya karena kami mau bikinnya nggak keluaran besar, nggak virtuasi gitu. Jadi cuma kelas kecil dan kita training di situ. Nah ini kita cek tadi trainingnya grafiknya tadi di awal 2019, lalu kita cek di 4 bulan setelahnya. Dan ternyata itu memang teorinya aja. Teorinya ini pakarnya dokter etik yang dulu. Kalau semisal memang kalau setelah 3 bulan dari
Another important what's really important, and of course it seems logical, but it's not always the case. The cultural sensitivity is that interventions should really be adapted to the context of the culture. If this is not the case, if you don't connect to a person because you don't understand the context of the culture, it really doesn't work what you're doing. Because people will not be able to understand what you're saying, but they will also not accept what you're saying. So it's really important to know the culture and the context, and both like when you have a community health worker or a peer supporter could be the same as well. But it's a really important factor actually that you should always take into account when talking to a patient or when you're somewhere else. Let me see, this is really interesting actually. So I was talking about context before, so what we also did was we developed actually a guideline for contextual adaptation of these community-based health interventions. So this is a really easy to use guideline in which you can just check if you know what the context is and if you adapted the intervention to the person in his context to his culture. Can you next slide? I think that's, yeah. So yeah, a lot of other research, and I hope to do a lot as well in the future to work on certain topics. But I think the main message that I want to give you, as we talked today about like being the NCD, the community groups being so important to Southeast Asia, the whole family and friends and together is really important. I think the most important thing is to always be connected with the context, know the context and the culture of the person you're talking to or the place where you are residing. If that's not the case, nobody will understand you. But also the context of what you're saying. So I think that's my main message that I want to give you.
Sekian dari presentasi yang sudah kami berikan. Terima kasih buat perhatian teman-teman semua dan teman-teman di sini. Kalau misalnya kalian tertarik dengan isu-isu public health, global health, bisa mengunjungi web kami di website ncd.org ini dan bisa juga tanya-tanya sama saya atau bisa langsung ke IKM buat tanya-tanya atau bisa bergabung dengan kami. Sekian dari kami. Wassalamualaikum